Kyomer wiped the dust off the dashboard of her husband's car, humming softly as she worked. It was a quiet Saturday afternoon, and Tunde had taken their son, Dami, to his grandmother's house for the weekend. She rarely cleaned his car, but today, something told her to do it. As she bent to pick up an old receipt, her fingers brushed against something hard beneath the driver's seat. Frowning, she reached under and pulled out a dusty, old phone. It wasn't the one Tunde always used. This one looked older, well hidden. Her heart skipped a beat. She pressed the power button. The screen flickered to life. The wallpaper was a picture of a little girl, no older than 4, her wide brown eyes staring up at her. Kyomer's breath caught in her throat. Who was this child? The phone buzzed. One new message from unknown number. Her pulse pounded as she clicked on it. Unknown number. Tunde, when will you leave her? You promised me. Kyomer's hands trembled. She scrolled up, her eyes darting across messages, some dating back months. Our daughter is asking about you again. How long will you keep us a secret? I saw you with her today. You looked happy. Do you ever think about me? You told me I was the only one. Now I see I was just another woman in your life. Daughter. Secret. Kyomer's mind reeled. She gripped the phone tighter, her stomach twisting in knots. Then, in a moment of reckless courage, she typed back. Kyomer, who is this? She barely had time to process what she had done before the typing bubble appeared. Then disappeared. Then appeared again. Unknown number. Who is this? I should be asking you that. You're the one sleeping in my husband's bed. Kyomer's breath caught in her throat. Husband. The phone slipped from her hands and hit the car seat with a dull thud. She ran inside, heart pounding, mind spinning. She opened Tunde's social media, scrolling furiously through his photos. Everything looked normal, pictures of their wedding, their son, his work events. But then she saw it. A post from last year. Tunde at a conference in Abuja. A group photo. Everyone in business suits, smiling. But in the background, just slightly blurred, was a woman. Her hand rested on Tunde's shoulder. And standing in front of them was the same little girl from the phone wallpaper, her tiny hands gripping Tunde's leg. Kyomer's stomach lurched. The caption read, "Work hard, love harder. Family is everything." Her hands shook as she scrolled through the comments. They were mostly generic. Great work. Looking sharp. But one stood out. A simple heart emoji from the woman in the background. Kyomer clicked on her profile. It was private, but her profile picture showed her holding the little girl close, both of them smiling. Kyomer swallowed hard, her fingers trembling as she went back to the messages. She scrolled further, her heart sinking with every word. Unknown number. You promised me, Tunde. 5 years is a long time. She deserves to know the truth. Unknown number. I won't be silent forever. 5 years. The exact length of Kyomer's marriage. The realization hit her like a blow. This woman wasn't just a mistress. She had been there before Kyomer. Before the wedding. Before Dami was born. Had Kyomer been the other woman all along? The front door creaked open. Footsteps. Tunde was home. She sat in the dimly lit living room, gripping the phone as he walked in. He smiled at her, completely unaware that his world was about to shatter. Babe, I'm home. Kyomer placed the phone on the table between them. Her voice was steady, but inside, she was shaking. Who is she, Tunde? His smile faded. His eyes darted to the phone, and in that moment, she saw it, fear. Not confusion. Not surprise. Just fear. He sighed heavily and sat down, rubbing his temples. I never wanted you to find out like this. Kyomer's heart cracked. So it was true. Every word in those messages. Every suspicion. Every doubt. How long? She whispered. Tunde hesitated. Then, finally, he spoke. Before I met you. A sharp, bitter laugh escaped her lips. So that was it. This woman wasn't a fling. She wasn't a one-time mistake. She had been first. The first love. The mother of his first child. And Kyomer? She had been the other woman all along. Tears burned her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Their son, Dami, slept peacefully in the next room, unaware that everything was crumbling around them. Tunde reached for her hand, his voice pleading. Kyomer, please. I love you. I love our family. She pulled away, standing up. A man who truly loves his family doesn't keep another one hidden. Tunde opened his mouth to speak, but she held up her hand. She had heard enough. She turned and walked toward the bedroom. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but one thing was certain: she deserved better. Kyomer lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling. Tunde had knocked on the bedroom door a few times, but she ignored him. Her mind was too clouded with betrayal, with pain, with the realization that the life she had built was nothing more than a carefully constructed lie. By morning, she had made up her mind. She wouldn't scream. She wouldn't beg. She wouldn't let him see how deeply he had broken her. Instead, she would take control. Kyomer emerged from the bedroom just as Tunde was finishing his coffee at the dining table. He looked up, hopeful. Kyomer, we need to talk. She sat across from him, calm but firm. I have only one question, she said, her voice steady. Do you love her? Tunde hesitated. And that was all the answer she needed. You don't hesitate when you love someone, Tunde. He exhaled, rubbing his face. It's complicated. No, it's not, she cut in. You had a choice. You chose her before me. You chose me after her. But you didn't stop choosing her. That's not complicated, that's betrayal. Tunde reached for her hand, but she pulled back. I can't change the past, he pleaded. But I never wanted to hurt you. Kyomer let out a bitter chuckle. You hid an entire family from me. A child. A woman who still thinks she's your wife. And you think you didn't want to hurt me? His silence confirmed what she already knew. He had never thought she would find out. He had built 2 lives, believing he could keep them separate forever. But secrets always have a way of coming out. The wife and the mistress, who was who? After Tunde left for work, Kyomer picked up the phone again. She scrolled to the unknown number. Then, with a deep breath, she dialed. The phone rang once. Twice. Then a woman's voice answered. Tunde? Kyomer swallowed the lump in her throat. No. This is Kyomer. His wife. Silence. Then a bitter laugh. Wife, the woman repeated. That's funny. He told me you were just his baby mama. Kyomer's stomach twisted, but she refused to show weakness. How long have you 2 been together? 7 years. Kyomer closed her eyes. 7 years. She and Tunde had been married for 5. This woman had come first. And your daughter, she's his. Yes. Kyomer gripped the phone tighter. Did you know about me? The woman hesitated. Not at first, she admitted. But when I found out, he said he was only with you for the child. That he was planning to leave you. Kyomer let out a breath. The lies Tunde told this woman were different from the lies he told me. To Kyomer, he was a devoted husband and father. To the other woman, he was a man trapped in a loveless marriage. And in both stories, he was the victim. When Tunde returned home that evening, Kyomer was waiting. She had packed a bag for herself and for Dami. What's this? He asked, his voice laced with panic. You made your choice a long time ago, Tunde. I'm just finally making mine. His eyes darkened. Kyomer, don't do this. Think about Dami. Think about our family. She looked at him, really looked at him. You should have thought about that before you built another family behind my back. Tunde ran a hand through his hair, desperate. Where will you go? Somewhere I don't have to share my husband. She took her son's hand and walked out the door, leaving behind the man she once loved, the lies she once believed, and the pain that had defined her marriage. She didn't know what the future held, but one thing was certain: she would never be anyone's second choice again.
Please press subscribe button. It helps us bring you more interesting stories. Your support keep us going. Please subscribe.